relevant, reliable, and researched. This is Experts on Call, the show focused on delivering leading-edge news and information on today's most beneficial products and services. This is Experts on Call on AM 650.
Welcome back to the program. Sterling Fox with you with Jim Perkins, founder and president of FairTradeWorks. And Jim, want to just read you something here. I had a little quote there from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation a couple of moments ago. This gets into the specifics. We talked about that statistic revealed the number of new home constructions, multifamily and single-family homes anticipated in our province just this year. Okay, so now we get to the phase where we're actually talking about building something. So from roofing to cladding to technology wiring to trim to flooring to heating systems to vanities and kitchen features, even windows alone, tons of things for the consumer to decide on. The list, I mean, that's just the beginning of the list, Jim. The word that you used in our last segment that I want to return to relates directly to this little list I've just rattled off. The word is unexpected. Right. Because when you are anticipating any kind of construction, you have an idea of what you want to see when it's all done. You hope to have the professional people who will get you there to where it's all done, explain things up front, give you an estimate, and when it's all said and done, the check you have to give is pretty darn close to the estimate. But as experience teaches a lot of consumers in British Columbia, that isn't always necessarily the case. Your adjective, unexpected, creeps into the project more frequently than not. Why is that?
I would say the biggest thing that's lacking in the market today is, I guess, upfront planning, right? People just, contractors and clients just stumble into it. They rush into the new home construction without actually taking the time and the effort and to simply plan the whole project up front, to get the decisions, get the scope tied down, to listen to the consumer, find out exactly what they want to build and how they want to do it and how they want to finish it. It's like you noted, all those decisions. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of decisions that need to be made throughout the whole process. So, in our process, we make sure that we kill 80% of those decisions and document them before we get going. So we have a clear scope of work and a clear picture, as well as a clear dollar value, how much it's going to cost before we get going. So we're not stumbling through this jungle of decisions and overruns and unexpected things, right? So.
I suppose the thing that surprises me most, Jim, is we live in one of the most expensive corners of Canada. So the prices involved in any kind of project, whether it's a new home or an addition to an existing home or a summer home, I mean, the costs are astronomical. And why people wouldn't plan their way through and think their way through and develop a roadmap before anything is done is baffling to me.
Yeah, I would say it's an investment that would typically affect most of people's rest of their lives, and how it plays out. There's that many dollars involved.
It's always the single largest purchase you'll ever make in your life.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Absolutely. And the returns and the planning and for resale and all these things that need to be thought through. And some people build a house knowing damn well that they're only going to stay there for a year or two maybe, or they plan to have kids, or the kids are going to university. So all these things we discuss up front because this is investment. We're investment people and we're numbers people. So
take us through the process. Okay, let's assume that I'm going to build a new home. And I don't want to be the victim of unexpected costs and pay through the nose beyond what I had in mind in the first place. Yeah. How do I avoid that? I go to FairTradeWorks. I go to the website, fairtradeworks.biz. I fill out the form. I end up in contact with one of your people. Walk us through the whole thing so that I'm not going to be Mr. Unexpected a few months down the road.
Right. Yeah. With a new home construction, they obviously contact us. We couple you with an advisor, and from that point, there's some loose conversations about what kind of house do you want, or what do you want it to look like? Do you want it to be modern? Do you want contemporary? All these different things.
What sort of neighborhood do you plan to build in?
Exactly right. It's a fairly small market, the West Side Realty, where we work, and we work northwest, east, downtown, you name it. But we know our markets pretty well, so we can recommend on what's valuable, and we have realtors on board and all these things. So, but the actual construction, we'll meet with our advisors, and of course, from that point, we educate them what's involved, what they have to get done, the timelines, the professionals that need to be brought in, the cost of all these things. We actually have like a cheat sheet to educate them of how this scenario would play out and get them to the point where we would start constructing. You know, and at my office we have in-house designers and architects who can tackle anything, right? So you know, we always encourage our clients to work alongside us and use these professionals.
So step one is to assign an advisor to each client.
Right.
So that's your connection person for the balance of the whole deal.
Yep.
And so that person, I would imagine that individual's first assignment is get to know the customer and find out exactly what they want. Because I would think a lot of people have an idea of what they want, Jim, but no clue as to the ingredients required to get there.
Yeah, we're experts on pulling that information together, you know, because we do it time and time again. So, you know, we spend some time with our clients and kind of fast track their thought process of whatever they have documented or the ideas that they have and kind of funnel them into the right direction to keep things efficient, right? So to get them to that point where we have a house designed and drawn and ready to submit to City Hall submission for approval. So, you know, just our system and our team of experts and all working together, and we're so customer service based, our designers, all these things, we work together to just get our clients moving in the right direction, comfortable, keep it transparent, and get them to that point where they can, you know, we can get a house designed and drawn for them, ready to get into City Hall and, you know, get into construction. And we're proud to say that we you know, we're very competitive about our timelines to get to that point to expedite the process to obviously keep carrying costs down and things like this.
Okay. Now I'm glad you mentioned costs, because if I'm interested in a new home, as I mentioned I was, and I'm comfortable with the advisor that has been assigned to my file, okay, now I would expect that this person is going to spend some time with me and draw up a computer model eventually of what my project is going to look like, and then we can get into that long list of details, a few items of which I've already identified. How much extra does this service cost over and above the actual construction of the place? Because your team of experts aren't doing this out of the goodness of their hearts, Jim.
No, absolutely not. It's all rolled into the package. You know, we it's not like it's the old system with a cherry on top, and the cherry is as an extra cost. We completely broke down the whole system and restructured it so that the end product is on par, or I would say more competitive than our competitors, because we're able to streamline things. We're able to be efficient. We all work in the same office. You know, we're fast. We're modern times. We're experts. So I'm confident that what our products that's pushed out on the other side are on par or cheaper than our competitors are. You know, and our competitors are all unregulated. They're all over the place. You know, there's construction companies that will bid the exact same house from, you know, $600,000 to $900,000, right? So there's no real regulation on that. What we do, because we're not a construction company, we're a brand. We use our resource pool to tender these projects. And by creating that market value and that even playing field, what's left is a really transparent document where the client can see and that they know they're getting value for their money. You know.
We're talking with Jim Perkins, the president of FairTradeWorks. And Jim, the advisor is assigned to my file. I've now had a couple of meetings with this person, and there's an understanding now of what I want. And more importantly, I think from me, the uneducated I don't know anything about construction. I know what I want, and I know what my bank manager says I can afford. Yeah. But beyond that, I'm no hero in the construction department. But the difference is, as I understand it, is that, because you've talked about tenders a few times already. Yeah. So once the product, or the project rather, is defined, okay, here's what you want to build, and here's all the details that they need to know, that your team needs to know. Yeah. Then you, as my agent or advocate, put this project out to tender to the marketplace.
That's right. So, you know, all our contractors and trades are heavily screened to work in the FairTradeWorks system. You know, it's not just a quick reference check and a phone call. It's we scrutinize these companies and check how long they've been in business. We check with their clients, referrals, testimonials, their employees, all these things. So we know we have our resource pool is top notch. So yeah, like you said, we once we have that scope package and all the information they need to bid on this project, we put it out to tender through our software. They have a certain timeline they have to submit their bids by, and any questions along the way, it comes to their advisor, because the advisor now is married to the project.
Right.
They know it very well.
Right.
The homeowner doesn't have to deal with all the questions and the confusion and the time wasted where they're at work with their kids, all these things. Our advisors deal with that, and any questions that need answers by the homeowner, our advisor goes to our homeowner that's obviously gained that relationship. So it's very fluid. It works, and yeah. So our contracts and trades actually compete for that job now. They know the scope. They know exactly what they're bidding on, and all our contracts and trades compete to get the winning bid, I guess.
Do you have a minimum and or maximum number of tenders that you will accept on any given project?
On new home construction, we do a minimum of 3, I guess, just to make sure that it is that market value, So
and does the homeowner, does your client have an opportunity to review all of the submissions?
And
then you would recommend which one that you would prefer.
They review at the end. Once the tenders come in, we go through it again to make sure that everything is covered in apples to apples, and they're all very, everything's on par and clear. And then from there, it gets offered to the homeowner to decide who he or she would like to go with.
Right.
But at that point, the whole system is not revolved around the actual company. We're trusted that we've done our homework, we've done our scope package, we've screened everybody, so everybody that's behind the curtain, I guess, is good to go, right? So when we submit our tender to the homeowner, it's natural that they're going to pick one of the 2 lowest bids to move forward, because they know for a fact that lowest bid includes this scope of work and these materials, and they know that we're going to regulate the whole thing. We've already set the timelines. All the contracts are heavy to make sure that the contracts and trades stick very heavily to the scope package, the timelines and the payment terms.
Let me follow up on timelines, because that's one of those dreadful, unexpected things. Well, we were planning on having it done for you, sir, by the end of the month, but, a few things just didn't pan out, and gosh, it's going to be 2 or 3 more months. Well, I suppose there are no guarantees in life, Jim,
right.
But how does FairTradeWorks dodge that bullet? How do you commit to a certain timeline, and you can say to that your customer, your client, with confidence, yeah, we'll have your home built by Labor Day?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, with that scope package at the beginning, which the contracts and trades sign their life away on, is that the timelines that the project has to be completed. And of course, and we know personally how long that takes, so it's very realistic, the timelines. But yeah, there's benchmarks throughout the projects where certain parts of the project have to be completed for, otherwise the contracts and trades would get fined or loss of funds, right? So.
Oh, really?
And it's not.
So once the contractor commits to this plan and the tender is accepted, well, then they're bound by those terms.
Yeah, it's a legal document that's present in most business scenarios, right? So we put it in place with now our construction timelines and process, so that, and like I said, it's not strict or harsh, it's just realistic. It's basically, you show up, you do an honest day's work every day and go home. There's none of these scenarios where the homeowner's waiting for people to show up and the people don't show up for a day or 2 or weeks on end, right? There's none of that nonsense. It's just everything is organized. We know which order everybody has to come in. We make sure the materials are in stock, all the old excuses, right, which maybe to cover up poor planning or inefficiency by the old system. It's just, we make sure all that's in place, so that there's just a fluid run through the new home construction process.
So the business model in large part is minimized, because I don't think you can ever completely eliminate, but certainly minimize to the utmost degree the unexpected.
Right. Absolutely, and like you said, there's a few things that pop up here and there, but 90% of the stuff is set in stone. And of course, with our experience, we've done it time and time again, and we're good, and we know how it works. Because we're not a construction company trying to cover everything up. We're a construction brand, making sure everything runs smoothly with our labour pool. That there's very rarely any hiccups or unforeseens. It's and ask our clients to date. It's been an enjoyable process for all our clients.
And by the way, speaking of clients and satisfaction, you can go to fairtradeworks.biz, this excellent website that Jim and his colleagues have put together, and there is a segment on the website for testimonials, and people whom you have served in the past are quite happy to come forward and say, yeah, this is a pretty good outfit. I'd use them again.
I would hope so, yeah. At the end of every part of our customer care cycle is at the end of the wrap-up of every project, our advisor does a walkthrough that signs off on the project with the homeowner. Make sure they're happy, make sure all the scope is complete, and we actually send them an electronic survey which they fill in, which they can fill in, non-biased, and they fill the whole thing in, and it rates the service if they're happy, what they weren't happy about, all these things. So we can fine-tune our services, and we're ever evolving, we're ever growing, and never moving forward, right? So it's just it's great feedback. It's nothing better than a testimonial or a questionnaire feedback to really fine-tune the services, and we're upwards of 90% customer satisfaction guaranteed, which is unheard of in the construction industry. Like, we do such a volume of projects, and so we deal with such a volume of consumers, and maintaining that high standard is just something that's never been seen before in the construction industry.
Interesting stuff. Jim Perkins with us, the president and founder of FairTradeWorks. We'll be right back with lots more here on Experts on Call on AM 650.
There's still more ahead with Experts on Call, the show focused on delivering relevant and beneficial consumer information. This is Experts on Call on AM 650.